So, hello students, a very good evening to all and welcome back to Daily Current Affairs of 17th of June. So, for today's discussion, we have four very important articles. So, these four articles are from The Hindu as well as PIV. The first article is related to recent change in rules and regulations regarding the sale of cough syrups in India. Second article is related to exercise pitch black 2026. Third article talks about the outbreak of Nipah virus in Kerala. And fourth article is about the joint crediting mechanism between India and Japan. So first article is related to the sale of cough syrup in India. So basically recently what government has done, government has amended the drug rules 1945, and according to these amended rules, now it is no longer possible to easily get a cough syrup from any medical shop without prescription. So if you want a cough syrup, you will be needing the medical prescription. So this is the recent amendment in the rules. Now, what were the reasons why government had to take all these steps? First important reason is the growing misuse of cough syrups in India. Because see, you are very well aware of this situation that many a times, especially this thing is very prevalent among the youths, that many a times cough syrups are used as a recreational drugs in India. So if you are very addicted to cough syrups, no, you will lose all your senses. You will face the problem of hallucination. So that's why we can say that there is growing misuse of cough syrups in India. Second biggest problem in India is the problem of self-medication, because all these things are very prevalent at our home also, because sometimes our parents say that why to go to the doctor, let's take the medicine from the medical shop, let's take the cough syrup from the medical shop. But see, problem with this is that you can consider in this way. For example, you have four people who are suffering from different kind of problems, but the common symptom among those problems is the cold and cough. So maybe those people will take a common medical syrup, that no, if we are facing the problem of coughing, so let's take this common syrup. So the result will be maybe the coughing will reduce for short period of time, but this will be having a very negative impact on their body, because maybe the person was suffering from TB, or maybe the person was suffering from pneumonia. So they would be needing different kind of medication, but all those persons are taking the simple cough syrup for cold and cough. Now, third reason was the recent child deaths linked to contaminated syrups, because I think this news was of 2022, that in Gambia many children died when they used the cough syrups which were manufactured in India, and the reason was those cough syrups were containing ethylene glycol as well as diethylene glycol. That's why government wants to regulate the sale. Government wants to regulate the quality of all these kind of cough syrups and medicinal syrups in India. So now, if we talk about the diethylene glycol as well as ethylene glycol, so just now I discussed that no, it led to death of many children in various countries in Africa. So see, if you want to make the cold and cough syrup, or for that matter any syrup, so for that you will be needing a solvent, right? You will be needing a liquid solvent. So generally, what all solvents are considered safe for the medicinal syrups? For example, glycerine. Glycerine is considered as a safe solvent, or propylene glycol is also considered as a safe solvent. But if we talk about the ethylene glycol or diethylene glycol, so these two solvents are very poisonous, and these two solvents are not even made for the medicinal syrups. But the main problem with this is that these are very cheap and these are easily available. And since no strict regulation is there on the medicines, so countries are easily able to use them. And what are the impact of that? If you are using ethylene or diethylene glycol, it may lead to kidney failure and sometimes even death. So that's why government has to bring all these amendments in the drug rules and regulations. Now, since we are talking about the rules and regulations in India, so let's quickly discuss about the classifications also. Because just now we said that now the medicinal syrups or cough syrups people cannot get without any medical prescription. So let's discuss the category of drugs which all require the medical prescription. So see, if we talk about the drugs and cosmetics rules of 1945, so medicines are basically categorized in different kind of schedules. So if we talk about the Schedule H, so what is the main point under Schedule H? You cannot get the medicines under Schedule H without any medical prescription. So here the cough syrup you can put under Schedule H only. Because for cough syrup, just now we said you cannot get cough syrup without any medical prescription. So all the drugs which are coming under Schedule H, so for that medical prescription is required, cannot be sold without the doctor's prescription. So what all medicines can come under Schedule H? So for example, diabetes medicine, or for example, blood pressure medicines. All these medicines you cannot get without any medical prescription, and from now cough syrup also you cannot get without any medical prescription. Next type of schedule is the Schedule H1. Just now we discussed about the Schedule H, where prescription is mandatory. Now coming to Schedule H1. So Schedule H1 is the most stricter category. So here what all things will be done? Here the shopkeeper or the pharmacist must also maintain the sales record. So here you had to maintain the prescription. In H1 you will be needing the prescription. Along with that, the pharmacist have to maintain the sales record also. So what all things will come here? What all kind of medicines? For example, anti-TB drugs will come under Schedule H1 category. So here the main purpose is to prevent the antimicrobial resistance. Antimicrobial resistance means, see, if a person is keep on taking a certain amount, a certain quality or quantity of drug, so over a period of time his body will become resistant to that particular drug. So after a period of time there will be no impact of that drug on his body. That's why government is trying to prevent the antimicrobial resistance, because if you are using any drug indiscriminately, so it can lead to antimicrobial resistance. Now talking to the strictest category, that is the Schedule X. So what will come under Schedule X? Under Schedule X, the narcotic drugs as well as psychotropic substances will be, we can put all the narcotic drugs as well as psychotropic substances. So here what is the important requirement? Here special storage as well as record keeping requirements are needed. So in Schedule H, prescription was mandatory. In Schedule H1, prescription and record keeping was mandatory. In Schedule X, prescription, record keeping as well as special storage, all these things are mandatory. So if we talk about the level of strictness, so Schedule X is the most strict schedule. After that, Schedule H1, and after that, Schedule H. So for prelims point of view, all these things are very important. Now, since we are discussing about the drugs regulation, so it is very important to discuss about the body which is regulating drugs in India. So here we will be talking about Central Drugs Standard Control Organization, that is CDSCO. So what is CDSCO? This is a national regulatory authority, that is NRA of India, and its main purpose is to regulate drugs, vaccines as well as medical devices. And this body will be doing under which rules? So this it will be doing under drugs and cosmetic rules in India. Now it is very important to know that it comes under which ministry, because see, you might be confused between Ministry of Health as well as Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers, because here we will be discussing about chemicals also, right? So it works under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare and not under Ministry of Chemicals. Now next thing is that, see, we are talking about the organization, right? CDSCO. Now who will head the organization? So the head of CDSCO will be known as Drugs Controller General of India, that is DGCI. So organization is CDSCO. Who is the head? Head is the Drugs Controller General of India. So please remember. Now, what is the responsibility of the CDSCO under Drugs and Cosmetics Act? So see, it will deal with the approval of new drugs, with the conducting the clinical trials of new drugs, laying down the standards of new drugs, control over the quality of imported drugs, etc., etc. So these are some of the prelims related points. Now, next important article is related to Exercise Pitch Black 2026. So here the news is the Indian Air Force will be participating in Exercise Pitch Black. So see, why it was in news? Basically, it was in news because the new version of Exercise Pitch Black will be happening. And this exercise will be hosted by Royal Australian Air Force, that is RAF, in Australia. So please remember, Exercise Pitch Black will be happening in every 2 years. In which country? So it will be happening in Australia. Now, few important points about Exercise Pitch Black. So very important thing is that this is a biennial exercise. Biennial exercise means it is happening every 2 years. Second thing is who hosts this exercise. So this exercise will be hosted by Royal Australian Air Force, that is RAF. Please remember, this exercise does not happen annually, it happens biennially. That means in every 2 years. Who hosts this exercise? So in every 2 years, this exercise is hosted by Royal Australian Air Force. Now, so it is primarily conducted from RAF based Darwin as well as RAF based Tyndall in Northern Australia. So basically, there are two bases in Australia from where this exercise pitch black is being taken forward. Now, why this exercise is called as pitch black? Because this exercise mainly focuses on the nighttime operations. That's why we call this exercise as exercise pitch black. So basically, all the aircrafts will be conducting all these operations during the night time. So that's why it's named exercise pitch black. Now, few important points about the exercise pitch black. So this event will be happening from 20th of July to 7th of August. Next important thing is that around 20 nations will be participating here. What will be the main focus of this exercise? See, the main focus of every exercise is some general only. That means a war-like situation will be created, and then a huge army will be, we will try to deploy huge army, and then we will check that whether there is interoperability among the armies or air forces of different countries or not. So all these things. So objective is very common. Now, if we talk about India, so Indian Air Force participated for the first time in exercise pitch black in 2018. So please remember, this is important for the exam, that in 2018 for the first time India participated, and after that India has been the regular participant in the exercise. So our next article is related to the outbreak of Nipah virus in Kerala. So basically, the article discusses about the commendable steps which were taken by the government of Kerala to reduce the cases of Nipah outbreaks. So for exam point of view, static portion of Nipah virus is important, the basic concept. So if we talk about Nipah virus, so how it can spread? So Nipah virus is a zoonotic virus. Zoonotic virus means it can be spread from animals to human beings. So here, who is the natural reservoir? Which animal is natural reservoir? So here, fruit bats or flying foxes, which are mammals. So they are considered as the natural reservoir of Nipah virus. So see, this virus is always present in the body of fruit bats or flying foxes. But this virus is not infecting these fruit bats. Whenever this virus is transferred from the body of fruit bats to human body, then it starts affecting human body. Now, next thing is that how it is affecting human body. So see, it can cause severe respiratory illness. It can also lead to the brain inflammation, as well as sometimes it can lead to death also. That means it can be fatal also. Now, very important thing for the prelims is that there is no vaccine or medication for Nipah virus. So there is no vaccine or medication to cure Nipah virus. Very, very important thing for the exam. So what is the solution? Solution is to prevent. So you have to take number of steps. You have to maintain hygiene. You have to maintain a distance from the person who is infected from Nipah virus. These are precautions you have to take. Next thing is the mode, how it spreads. So since we have discussed that this is a zoonotic virus, that means it transfers from animals to humans. That means it transfers from fruit bats or flying foxes to humans. So how it can be transferred? See, first thing is they can be transferred from the contaminated fruits. So the fruits which are eaten by the fruit bats, and if human eat that fruit again, then it can be transferred to human beings. Second thing is it can be transferred to date palm sap contaminated by bats. So see, for example, this is a tree of palm. So in the trunk of this palm tree, we will be getting this date palm sap. That means date, some kind of juicy substance you get. So if this juicy substance is contaminated by the bats, so this juicy substance is used in various kind of drinks also. So if this sap is contaminated by the bats, then also it can be transferred to human beings. And another thing, a contact with the infected animals. So these are some of the modes through which this virus can be transferred from animals to humans. Now, second mode is transfer from humans to humans. So how a human being can get infected? Through fruit bats or flying foxes. Now, if a person has already been infected, then that person can transfer the virus to another person also. How? Through various kind of bodily fluids, the respiratory droplets, etc., etc. And if there is a close contact between the infected person and another person, then also this thing can happen. That's why the outbreak of Nipah virus in hospital becomes very easy, because there are many, different kind of patients you see. So here the contact can become easy. Now, why this Nipah virus outbreak is happening more and more in Kerala? The first important thing is the population of fruit bats in Kerala. So we have large population of fruit bats in Kerala, and these bats are considered as the natural reservoir of Nipah virus. So this is the first thing. Next thing is the urbanization, which is happening in Kerala, the expansion of agricultural fields, because of which the interaction of animals as well as human beings is increasing. So this is the second important thing, the urbanization as well as expansion of agricultural fields. Third important thing is the tropical climate of Kerala, because in the tropical climate these fruit bats of flying foxes survives. So this is the favorable climate for the fruit bats. So this is the reason why Nipah virus outbreak is happening more and more in Kerala. Now, next article is the joint crediting mechanism between India and Japan. So see, first thing is, under this article many things you must know. First important thing is that this joint crediting mechanism have been adopted between India and Japan. So India and Japan have adopted the rules of implementation for joint crediting mechanism under Article 6.2 of Paris Agreement. So see, what all things you must know from here. You must know about Article 6 of Paris Agreement. You must know the meaning of joint crediting mechanism. What is the process of joint crediting mechanism? So these two are the important things which you must know. So first, let's start with the Article 6 of Paris Agreement. So what is the subject? Means what is the topic which is dealt under Article 6 of Paris Agreement? I think Article 6 of Paris Agreement, this has already been asked in prelims of UPSC, I think in 2025, if I am not wrong. So what is the subject of Article 6? Article 6 allows countries to cooperate voluntarily in achieving their climate goals. So see, if we talk about climate goals, for example, of India, so India has nationally determined contributions. That means under the NDCs of India, India is determined to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions, and so there is a particular percentage which India will say that we will reduce the greenhouse gas intensity to this much percentage. So under Article 6, the countries cooperate with each other so as to achieve the climate goals, because every country will be having their NDC. So if they want to achieve their climate goal, they cooperate with each other under Article 6 of the Paris Agreement. So what is the mechanism? What is the process through which you can achieve the climate goals? So that process is the carbon markets and carbon trading mechanisms. Now, under Article 6 of Paris Agreement also, we will be having three components. So what are those three components? So first is Article 6.2, then we have Article 6.4, and after that we have Article 6.8. So let's understand all these articles line by line, and then we shall be understanding with a very simple example also. So if we talk about Article 6, see, overall we have discussed what is the subject of Article 6. Article 6 talks about the cooperation between two countries so as to achieve their climatic goals. This is the overall objective of Article 6. Now let's come to the subparts. So here if we talk about Article 6.2, so Article 6.2 deals with the bilateral or multilateral cooperation between countries. So here two or more than two countries will cooperate among each other so as to achieve their climatic targets, so climatic goals. So for example, here if we talk about India and Japan, so India and Japan here they have cooperated so as to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions and achieve their climatic goals. And how India and Japan will cooperate? They will cooperate through the carbon credit trading mechanism. So for example, Japan will invest in some of the technologies in India. Japan will invest in a project in India so that India will be able to reduce the carbon emissions, and hence India will be earning the carbon credits. Now these carbon credits will be shared between India and Japan. So this is a basic mechanism under Article 6.2. So basically Article 6.2 talks about few countries, that whatever trading is happening, whatever the climatic goal achievement is happening, it is happening for few countries. Now coming to the Article 6.4. So Article 6.4 operates at a global level. So here Article 6.4 is related to United Nations supervised global carbon market. So let's consider, for example, there is a wind farm, and this wind farm operates under the supervision of United Nations. So consider, because of this operation of wind farms, a lot of carbon emissions have been reduced. So because of that, carbon credits will be generated. Now these carbon credits will not be shared only among 2 or 3 countries. These carbon credits will be shared among all the countries in the world. So Article 6.4 talks about the United Nations supervised global carbon market. So supervision will be of United Nations, but sharing will be among all the countries in the world. Very important thing in this is that this will be the successor to the Kyoto Protocol's clean development mechanism. See, why I am saying that this will be successor to the clean development mechanism, because if we talk about the clean development mechanism, so this focused only on the developed countries. If you read in detail about the Kyoto Protocol, no, in Kyoto Protocol we had a provision of clean development mechanism. So clean development mechanism focused on the Annex 1 countries. Annex 1 countries were basically they were the developed countries. So this mechanism said that if developed countries wanted to fulfill their climatic obligations, so they can invest or they can start a project in any developing country, so that this developed country can fulfill the objective. But here the problem was, this was focusing, the main focus was only on the developed country or only on the Annex 1 country. But now at present what we are talking about, so this is focusing on all the countries in the world. So this will be about the developed countries also, this will be about the developing countries also. So that's why this thing is more important. So this global carbon market is considered as the successor to the clean development mechanism, which was under the Kyoto Protocol. Now next is the Article 6.8. So important thing about Article 6.8 is that this focuses on the non-market approaches. See, 6.2 and 6.4 was focusing on the carbon credits, carbon market. So if one country is earning carbon credit, it will be sharing with the second country, or overall carbon credits will be shared globally. But Article 6.8 talks about non-market approaches. That means maybe one country will be transferring the technology to another country, or maybe one country will be helping the another country in developing carbon less carbon intensive technologies. So it is not the direct market approach. So here maybe I can provide you the financing, or maybe I can provide you the technology, but here we are not directly trading the carbon credits. So these are called the non-market approaches. So see, you can understand in this way. For example, this is Article 6.2, this is Article 6.4, and this is Article 6.8. So here, consider under Article 6.2, there are two students A and B. So under Article 6.2, students A and B are sharing their notes among themselves so that they can build their concepts for the exam and can perform well in the exam. Now under Article 6.4, consider the school authorities have made a common platform, and on that platform each and every student in the school can share their notes and they can build the concept. So this is Article 6.4. So this was at the bilateral or multilateral level, this was at the global level. Under Article 6.8, two students will not share their notes directly, but two students will help each other to learn and build the concepts. So here no market mechanism is involved, non-market mechanisms are involved. So this is the basic concept. Now, let's discuss about the joint crediting mechanism, because main news was about this only. So basically, joint crediting mechanism will be part of Article 6.2 of Paris Climate Agreement, because Article 6.2 talks about the cooperation between two or more than two countries. It is not at the global level, nor it is the non-market mechanism. It is a market mechanism, but it is between two or more than two countries. So basically, joint crediting mechanism is a bilateral carbon crediting mechanism which is pioneered by Japan. So if we talk about the process, so what will happen? So for example, this is India, this is Japan. So what Japan will do? Japan will finance the low carbon projects in India. Now, because of being low carbon, because of that project being of low carbon or low carbon emission, India will be earning carbon credits, right? Because India is emitting less carbon. So since it was because of the support of Japan, so this carbon credits which India have earned, India will be sharing these carbon credits with Japan. So this is overall meaning of joint crediting mechanism. So yes, now practice question for you. So consider the following statements. The Central Drug Standard Control Organization functions under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Next is Schedule H1 drugs require maintenance of sales records by pharmacist. Next is diethylene glycol contamination in medicinal syrups can cause kidney failure. So read the question once again and try to answer this question in the comment section. Next is with reference to joint crediting mechanism, consider the following statements. It operates under Article 6.2 of Paris Agreement. It allows transfer of carbon credits between participating countries. And next is it contributes to achieving nationally determined contributions, that is NDC. So you have to answer this question also in the comment section. So that's all from my side for today. Thank you and have a nice day.